Bienvenidos a Besos de NYC. I'm Patricia Wedding, supporting small businesses, artists, and entrepreneurs. Today, I'll be introducing you to Natalie Turner, and we'll be following her career from when she graduated from the Ailey School Scholarship Program to present day as a swing dancer for the Broadway production of The Lion King. Just a little bit of background. As a swing dancer, this means that Natalie has to be ready and prepared to cover for 6 dancers and know the choreography for each dancer's role. She needs to be able to fill in when they're sick, taking a personal day, and perhaps they've been injured. As you can imagine, this keeps her very busy. So what does it mean to be a dance captain? A dance captain is responsible for teaching new cast members the choreography, as well as taking a step back and observing dancers when they're having issues with the choreography. They're there to resolve the issues. So with that, let's go meet Natalie. I'm here with Natalie Turner, professional dancer. So I'm so excited about having you on my show today. I wanted to understand a little bit more about yourself, where you grew up, how you decided to become a professional dancer, and how you ended up on Broadway. I mean, this is amazing.
Well, I was born in Jamaica. I left Jamaica when I was 5. I grew up in Florida for the most part. And I started dance when I was 8.5 years old, just ballet. And then I went away to college in Atlanta at Emory University. And I kind of chose Emory University because I knew Atlanta Ballet was there, and I could go and take class with them, which I did for the first couple of years I was there. I would go on Saturdays. I would take like 2 buses and go and take class with them. After that, I came back home for about a year trying to figure out where I wanted to dance. I knew I wanted to dance. I just didn't know exactly what kind of genre. And, Miami has a little scene, and then there's LA, which is more commercial, and then there's New York. And I ended up coming to New York because I always wanted to do, I wanted to be in a ballet company originally. And then my eyes were opened up when I went to college, and I experienced contemporary and modern and, all different kinds of dance. And so I knew New York was it. And when I got here, I was like, yes, I'm here. I did it. I got into Alvin Ailey's program on scholarship, and I started taking classes with them. I mean, I could never do it now. Like, I don't know how I did it. It was like I was up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was in class at 8:30, and then 3, 4, sometimes 5 classes a day. And then I would go and I would work at a restaurant, or it was more of a coffee shop, but it opened up to a bar at night. So I would work, until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my
get home at like 3, sleep for 4 hours, and then I'm up again. After that, I danced with a few dance companies. My first company was Ballet Hispanico. Then I did Elisa Monte, which is a modern dance company, and we got to tour all over the world, and it was amazing. Then after that, I actually got into my first Broadway show, and it was The King and I, and it was a tour, and I mean, I really had no idea. I kind of like fumbled on it. I was just auditioning for things after I left Elisa Monte. It was a lot of fun. We toured nationally, so we got to see the United States, which was also kind of cool. Some areas are better than others, but
well, when you say you toured nationally, what in a show kind of timeline, what does that mean? Are you there in a city for a couple weeks, a couple of days?
So it's different from the dance company touring. Dance company touring, you know, it could be a week in a place and then you go a week in another place, or it could be like, you know, 3-4 days in France, and then we fly to Italy, and then we 3-4 days in Italy, and then we're back in France for another 3-4 days. It was kind of like that. But with the national tour, it all depends on the show. I mean, The King and I was a gigantic show, so they had I forget how many 18-wheelers with all the props and the scenery, but we would sit down in a place for anywhere from 2 weeks to, it could be as much as 6 weeks. But we did more like 2-3 weeks with that show. There are other tours that go out and they sit down for 6 weeks at a time in a city. It's that kind of show, since it's a big show, it could only really play in big houses. So, you know, like the main, you know, Detroit and, let's see, in Pittsburgh, in Tampa, in, you know, just in LA. It's always, you know, it has to be a big house. So it's usually, most of the time, it was pretty big cities. And then after that, I got into the Graham Company, Martha Graham Dance Company. And that, again, it was back to concert dance, but totally different form. And we got to tour all over the world again, which was amazing. I mean, we went to Brazil and Colombia and Norway. I was there only for like 3 months. They needed an emergency replacement, and it was like, so I had come home from tour, and the artistic director with The King and I also ended up being assistant artistic director with the Graham Company. And her mother is like a famous Graham dancer. And so she called me up one day and said, "Can you come in for an emergency audition?" And I was like, okay. I mean, I hadn't done Graham since when I was in Ailey in 1997. Like, I hadn't done Graham. I mean, we're talking like 10 years now. Oh, and wow. It was me and 2 other girls. And I was just like, we went through so many things, and my legs were shaking. I hadn't done that kind of work in such a long time. And I was just thinking, oh my God, please just make it through this audition, you know? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't a big Graham fan at that point in time, but, you know, I was like, you know, what the heck? Like, I'll try it out. And so went back home, and Susan kind of like talked to me on the side, and she was like, well, you know, I think we're going to go with another girl. She just has a little bit more Graham technique. And I was like, okay, fine, you know, it was good to see you, you know, and try it out. I go home, I shower, I'm eating, and I get a call back from them saying, can you come back? And I said, I was just thinking in my head, if I have to do one more contraction down to the floor, I'm going to die. And so I was just hoping that they weren't going to make me dance. And I went back, and they lined me up, and they were like, okay, can you start tomorrow? And that was it. Like, I started rehearsal, you know, the next day, and just caught up really fast because they were going out on tour. And I'm not sure what happened to the girl that I replaced, but anyway, yeah, so that was that.
And how long did you get to be with them once you got, like, how long did you end up?
So it was a 3-month contract. So when they do, when it's an AGMA union, when they do sort of a trial contract, it's for 3 months. So I was figuring, okay, 3 months, we'll see how it goes. They sent me they wanted to keep me on, so I was about to sign the contract to renew back into the company, and I got a call from Movin Out tour, which they were putting up a production of Movin Out in London. And they were like, "You're hired. Can you come to London?" And I was like, absolutely, because it was one of the shows that it kind of combined everything. It was an equity union, which is, you know, you have better pay, and it was dance. It was full on dance, but it was a Broadway equity production. So I did not sign that contract for Graham, and I left and I went to London and was there. It was supposed to be a year. We were supposed to have 5 months in London, a month off, hiatus, and then 6 months of touring Europe. But we had only been doing the show for like 2 weeks, and the producers came in and right before one of our shows at half hour and said, "We're closing."
No.
And yeah, I mean, people had moved from all over the world to do that show. I mean, there were people from Japan, Australia, Italy. Trying to think. Of course, there were Americans there. Yeah, it was devastating to a lot of people because they had relocated to London for that, and they thought they were going to have a job for a year. And yeah, it was like, we're closing in 2 weeks, you know. And so then after that, I came back home, and I was home for, I don't even know, maybe 2 weeks. And setting up a new apartment that I literally came home to a new apartment. I moved into a new apartment and setting it up, and I get a call from the national tour of Movin Out here in the States. And they said, "Can you come out and join the show? So a 6-month contract, we need you to replace somebody." I said, "Yeah." So I headed out, and I met them in Salt Lake City on tour, and that's it. I did 6 months of touring with them. So now I think it's 2006 now, and I kind of took a break from dance. I just kind of wanted to see like where my life would be without dance. I took, I would say, basically a 2-year hiatus from dance. And I worked at Crate and Barrel for maybe a year and a half. I think it was a year and a half. But I worked at Crate and Barrel, which was great. You know, it was a whole nother experience and sort of like the normal world.
Welcome to my world.
You know, getting up super early and having a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. It was, you know, very, very different. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the people that I worked with, and I love home decor, so, you know, it's like right up my alley. And so then I remember it was 2008, and it was probably July of 2008, and I was on my lunch break at Crate and Barrel, and I went to go check my messages, and I got a phone call from Mark Brandon, who is he's the casting agent for The Lion King, and he just left me a message saying, "We want to know if you can join the show and be a swing in The Lion King on Broadway. It's 99% sure, but I'll definitely know by Monday. Just, you know, wanted to know where you were." And I got off the phone, and I had to listen to it twice. I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I got off the phone, and I was sitting across from my friend, and I was like, "I think I just got a job offer on Broadway." And that was it. You know, I joined them in September of 2008, and yeah, I've been there ever since.
Oh my God, amazing. Amazing. And I was just watching a little bit of the opening of the Circle of Life. I
Mm,
mean, that
interesting.
production is intense. I
Yeah.
mean, the singing and then the dancing and the props and just everything that the dancers have to coordinate and deal with, right? I mean, it seems I don't know how you coordinate and choreograph all and keep these people together because it's impressive.
It's a massive, massive show. It is the absolute biggest show I've ever been in, and it's just, I mean, it takes, you know, 125 people, I think, just to get the show up and running. Like, it's massive, and it's, you know, everything is big. Everything is big. Everything is heavy. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's also amazing. And honestly, the Circle of Life is the best opener ever on Broadway. It's just, there's something about it, you know. It's like, it's really magical. You see that sun come up, and then you just see the giraffes crossing the stage, and then, you know, slowly all the animals start to come out, and it's amazing. It's like, and the audience goes crazy.
Well, it's like I couldn't have imagined that people could have produced and made these animals, right, coming up onto the stage. I mean, you would think you would have to have the real animal there. And you guys just like, it blows your mind when you see what you've created. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
with the lighting, the backdrop, the costumes, the movements of the dancers. It's very magical.
Very. I would agree. You know, sometimes we still get like chills, you know.
It
So
never goes away.
yeah, no, not for the Circle of Life. No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't, I haven't taken the girls to Broadway I've been dying to, and I think, this is one of the things that, of course, living in New York, you take for granted. I'm like, oh, it's there. We'll go. We'll
I
go.
know.
Well, now and I was going to ask you how you're doing with COVID-19, but now with
Mhm.
COVID-19, I'm like, I'm putting it on the list. We're going to go see The Lion King when they open up.
Right,
Not
right. So
hesitating, not waiting. Um, that's a future goal of mine to take our daughters to go see them. How are you dealing with as a professional dancer on Broadway, what are the challenges? What are you going through right now at this stages of COVID-19?
yeah, no. At first, it was a little bit of a relief because that show is is a machine. It never stops. It's 52 weeks a year, at least 8 shows a week, 6 days a week, all the time. We get 2 weeks off a year, and for vacation, and very few personal days. So it's exhausting, and we're dancing on a rake stage. I don't know if you know, that's when it's on an angle. So it
Mm.
comes up and down our stage. So, and it's steel, and
Mm.
we have heavy puppets, and it takes a toll on your body. You know, it just wears you down. And so at first it was like relief, you know, that we finally get to rest our bodies for more than 2 weeks, you know. And then, you know, you're like, okay, I still have to stay in shape. And I still, you know, and at that point, we didn't know what was going on. We were told April 12th. And, you know, soon after, though, we realized we're not coming back anytime soon. But um, it, it was a challenge, you know, and I have kids. So that on top of that, there's homeschooling now. And so all of my sort of training and, you know, working out, all that stuff kind of like fell by the wayside for a while. And I was just busy trying to get the homeschooling up and running. And, you know, I have 2 kids who are 2 different ages, 4 and 6. And so they do need a lot of help. They're not like independent. And it was challenging. I kind of just was like, okay, I cannot work out when the kids are here. And they go to their dad's for half the week. So then I would pick it up, just 3 or 4 days a week. And it didn't dawn on me until I feel like it was just 2 days ago when I realized, because I started working out while the kids were here, because I was like, I need to like do something every day. And I kind of felt guilty. I would try and do it when they didn't have their classes, and I kind of felt a little guilty taking any time away from them, and like, am I being a good mother by me working out? And then it literally dawned on me like 2 days ago that me working out is my job. Like, it is my job to stay in shape in order, 10 months from now or however many months it's going to be that we go back to work, that I'm able to do my job. So that kind of just like, and I shouldn't feel guilty for working out, you know what I mean? But no. I was really trying to like just deal with the kids and all their schoolwork, and then keep it separate. And then I was like, I just need to, I can't sit down for 4 days in a row, not doing anything. So that kind of like gave me some relief. I was like, people are working from home and from their home, and, having to homeschool also. And this is my job. So if I take 28 minutes or if I take an hour to work out and stretch, it's okay.
Yeah. Don't feel guilty. This is the dilemma of working moms, right? We always feel guilty about the time we spend away from our children. And especially now, because there is no separation between them going to school and coming back. I mean, it's even kind of more pronounced, right? But it is your job. You are a dancer. You need to keep your physique ready, stay healthy and ready to go back to work. And at the same time, as a mom, you need to give yourself oxygen. You also need to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally. If you take care of yourself, that's going to make you a better mother. So don't feel guilty. Absolutely. I know we all do it. I say it.
I don't anymore.
I do it myself. We all do it. But let me tell you, then you can tell me, do not feel guilty.
But it really, honestly, 2 days ago, I was like, I shouldn't feel guilty. This is my job. Like I need to do this for myself. And even before that, I shouldn't feel guilty. But you just like, I'm like, here, take the iPad, go, do your thing. Leave me alone. I need the TV, But we've all been thrown into a crazy situation. So
it is.
Just do the best that you can.
And how as a dancer, like, I know how it is for me. I mean, my jobs are usually like, 9 to 5, 9 to 7, whatever. I go into an office normally. Yeah. For you as a professional dancer, how has that been challenging for you as a mother? Because you just blow me away. I mean, I really admire what you've done, and you really inspire me. I mean, you knew what you wanted, and you went for it, and you're living the dream. I mean, how do you do it?
Well, it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm in my mid 40s now, and it's really hard. You just have to that's the thing. People think Broadway is glamorous, and it has like a little bit of mystique. And I think there was that time period of the glamour of Broadway, but it's a little different now, and it's really hard work. And I just remember Phoebe Newworth and Hugh Jackman both said Broadway is the hardest thing they've ever done. They love it, but between TV, film, and Broadway, because it's relentless. It is 6 days a week. You get 1 day off of rest, and it's really hard if you don't have that discipline, if you don't have that training for it. I mean, you see people come in, who are professional singers who have done American Idol or, whatever it is. They come in to do a show, and then next thing you know, like a week later, they're on vocal rest, or they're like out of the show. It's hard. It is really, honestly hard, day in and day out, to go and do a show. And sometimes it's 2 shows a day, and we're lucky. The Lion King especially is lucky, just because it's not going anywhere. It's stable.
It better not.
In a world, right? It's stable in a world that is not stable necessarily, and so it's a double-edged sword. I'm so lucky. I'm so honored to be a part of that show, and it is a beautiful show. And then the other side is like, it never ends. You have to find that time. You have to take the time in order for your body to heal, for your mind to heal. It can be a grind.
Yeah.
So
and
you
it's
have to
live.
find that balance.
It's live. That's what's so scary, right? You don't get cut, do it again, right? It's
right,
like everything is live. Everybody's going to see it. So, I mean, that's pretty intense.
It is. It really is. But I'm blessed to have that job.
Are you ready to go back?
Saying that,
yeah.
I am, but I know that we're probably not going back until January. So
yeah,
or the beginning of 2021. I don't know yet, but yeah. It's been nice to have this time off, but yeah, I'm ready to go back.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of odd. It's like it's a hard time, but I think it's also a time, in trying to be positive. Always trying to be hopeful, trying to look forward. I think it's given a lot of people some time to reflect. And with everything that's going on, of course, there's just so much to think about. So many things that we need to work on and do better and make change. And in some ways, although amongst all of this, I think we have to focus on the good, right? And moving forward and making change and getting angry and doing something about it in a positive way and raising our voices, making ourselves heard. I kind of feel like we're in that moment right now. And I'm not sure that it would have happened but for the backdrop of COVID-19.
Yeah, I agree.
As bizarre as it is with everything that's going on.
Right. It was sort of like the perfect storm in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you think it couldn't get any crazier than COVID-19, and then all of this with George Floyd happens, and I feel like there is going to be a good outcome out of this. It feels a little bit different. It feels like people are really angry, and it's sort of, it's hard to. There have been so many peaceful protesters, in the past, like Colin Kaepernick, it's like he got scrutinized and demonized for kneeling, which was absolutely peaceful. And then, you have the other side with these protesters and these people looting and destroying stores, and it's sort of, I feel like it has to come to this in order for them to come out on the other side, and hopefully we will come out on the other side. So time.
I think we will, and being a mother and having children, I don't know, your children are very young. I don't know if they're aware of what's going on. I know for me, my daughters are 12 and 15, and my younger daughter, I went into her room, she was crying, and, she found out through the internet what's going on, because I kind of feel like I've been keeping her in a bubble to protect her from all these horrible things that human beings can do. And, we had like a whole weekend of just talking about with her and my 15-year-old, who was very angry. And I think that their generation is going to, they're so passionate and they're so informed. I don't see how things cannot change.
Right.
You see the diversity in the marches and the protests, and it's I think it's a culmination of having all this access to seeing what's going on, not just hearing about it or not just reading about it, but actually seeing it and getting angry. And for their generation, I'm betting it's going to be better. Things have to change.
Have to. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I've definitely sheltered them. I feel like they're too young.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little too much for them. Yeah. So I don't have the news on. I don't,
Yeah. They grew up without
COVID was enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with that was enough. I feel like this on top of that, it's
too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much too early. I'm discovering I'm in a different phase for my children. It's like, okay, they're exposed, they know, and they want to do something about it, which makes me happy to know that they're good citizens of the world, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. We're raising children that we're all human beings. We all deserve to be treated with respect, and the law applies to everyone.
100%.
You're protected by it, and if you do wrong, then you need to enforce it on the person who did wrong.
Right. No matter where they are in this world, what stature they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think if my daughter were maybe 2 years older, I would have given her a little bit of what's, going on. But it's just too much. I can't. Yeah. Not for a 6-year-old,
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I waited till 12, to address, you just can't. After a while, especially with the technology the kids have today.
It's unavoidable for them. Unavoidable.
It is.
Yeah, they're bound to come across it somehow.
I'm so thankful for having you on my show and having this discussion with you. As a professional, as a mother, as a fellow New Yorker, we're going through some times and experiencing these events and hopefully making change. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your day, because I know you're busy. You're so busy to meet with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, really. Yes, I appreciate it, really. So thank you so much, and besos.
Oh, but definitely besos. Besos de NYC. All right, you guys. It's going to be a hot day in NYC today, so I hope you stay cool wherever you are. And if you'd like to see another interview, just click on any of the videos here. Until next time, hasta la próxima vez. This is Patricia Wedding sending you besos de NYC.